Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Target Focus Life podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about why I started this podcast and, more importantly, what it means to live a target-focused life. Are you ready? Let's go. Now, I'm guessing many of you listening to this first episode are familiar with the Target Focus Life YouTube channel. On the TFL channel, we end every video by saying whether you're in the field or in life, you're only going to hit those targets you're laser focused on. So live target focused. On the YouTube channel, we make videos on all things shotgun shooting and wing shooting. So we primarily cover the field aspect of target focused life. If you want to learn more about a particular shotgun, the TFL YouTube channel or website is a great resource, but believe it or not, that is not why I started Target Focus Life. So why did I start TFL? To answer that question, there's a little history involved. I'm not going to dive deep into my story today. I'll save that for future episodes, but here's a little background on how TFL came to be. As some of you know, I did not grow up hunting or shooting. Kind of weird, right? I've made my living over the last decade plus by shooting shotguns, but I didn't grow up hunting and shooting. It wasn't until college that I actually started to hunt, and then I started to do some trick shots. Now, there's a huge reason that shifted in my life. We'll get more to that in the future episodes, and you'll notice a common theme here. I'm going to kind of give some summaries here. We'll dive deeper into certain topics, and I'll probably say this a lot. We'll talk more about that in future episodes because we will, so stay tuned. So I started doing some hunting and trick shots in college, but it was nothing overly serious. It was just a hobby, kind of a side passion in the summer. But then something happened in 2009. I watched a live exhibition by Tom Knapp, and this inspired me, and it created a new vision in my life, the vision to become a professional exhibition shooter. Now, was I good at shooting? No, not really. Nothing to brag about. Was I good at public speaking? I was an award-winning public speaker. I had that going for me, except for my award was the most nervous public speaker in my college speaking class. So really not a very confident speaker. Really didn't have really money, connections, really nothing that gave me confidence to say this is something I can do other than a clear vision of this could be possible. Now, for 13 years, I performed live entertainment shows with shotguns, and I made YouTube videos with my brother, Aaron. So obviously, that vision became a reality. We'll dive deeper into that story in future episode. But through this journey of taking an unlikely dream and turning it into a reality, I began to see how much more was possible if we lived with intention, when we lived focused. I dove deep into learning more and more about personal development and creating success. And when I say success, I don't just mean financial success, but more of a success in the sense of creating a life and living by design. Again, more on that in future episodes. But about 4 years ago, I really felt a new dream stirring in my heart. I didn't have a clarity around it, but I felt that I was called to more than performing live entertainment shows and more than making fun trick shooting videos. I envisioned the end of my life. What impact would my work have? That was one of the questions I asked myself. I really felt that I was called to encourage and strengthen others to step into their God-given greatness. I believe everyone has greatness, but they have to step into it and develop it. So in short, that is where the vision of Target Focus Life was born. But now I had to do something with it. Believe it or not, I had a lot of fear. Even though I had already stepped way out of my comfort zone and accomplished something that really made no logical sense by creating Ghoul Brothers alongside with my brother. But this was different. I hate to admit it, but the fear kept me from taking action towards target-focused life for several years. But that vision, it never disappeared. It was always there. But the reasons to not take action, the fear and the reasons to not take action kept me from actually going after it. But finally, I had to do something. I decided that Target Focused Life would create content and connection with people through the common passion of shotguns and wing shooting. Although the TFL YouTube channel has taken a lot of planning time and money, it was relatively easy because it wasn't much different than what I had done in the past. We have built the channel to be one of the best resources for shotgun enthusiasts, but we don't talk in depth about living target focused in life. We kind of keep it more to the field side of things. And that's exactly why I started the Target Focused Life podcast. On this podcast, this is where we're going to talk about living target focused in life. So what does that mean to live target focused in life? In short, it means an intentional life, a life of purpose and design. TFL has 3 main pillars to living the target focused life. Now, these pillars are not so coincidentally the same 3 principles that are required to hit a flying target when you're shooting a shotgun. Now, in future episodes, we'll be diving deeper into these principles, and you'll probably see them keep reappearing as we interview guests. That's something that we plan to do, is have guests on to share their stories and encourage you to continue to step into your greatness that you were created for. But let me just quickly go over what these 3 pillars are, give you a quick overview. The first one is clear vision. Now, I don't think this needs much explaining when it comes to shooting a shotgun, but being able to see clearly is obviously important. Any target in life starts by also creating clear vision. Not the same type of vision that you can see with your eyes, but the type of vision that becomes clear in your mind's eye. Starting with a clear vision lets you know where you are going, the destination. Starts with a destination in mind that we can see clearly in our mind. And probably most importantly, it starts to create that reality in your mind before the physical reality can occur. So pillar 1 or principle 1, clear vision. The second is laser focus. When you shoot a shotgun at a moving target in the distance, your shotgun will move where you are focused. Tony Robbins says it this way: where your focus goes, your energy flows. I like to say, where your focus goes, your shotgun flows. But it's so true in life. Simply changing our focus dramatically changes our outcomes, and life is no different. With a clear vision in your mind, you can start to dial in the focus on what matters most. And now, it's not only important to focus on what matters most, but we have to start to eliminate the distractions that are keeping you from reaching your target. Because just like when you're shooting a shotgun, let's say there's a flock of ducks coming in and you have 10 of them coming in. If you try to focus on all 10 and your focus is just broadly out there and you're not focused on one target, the distractions will keep you from hitting your target. Life is the same. Life is dynamic, complex, busy. There's a lot going on. And we're so very easily distracted. And those distractions keep more people from reaching their dreams, their goals, their targets than pretty much anything else. All right, we better keep moving. I said I was going to do a brief overview, but once I get going, I like to just go. Last but certainly not least is the pillar of trigger pull. Let's say you're shooting a shotgun. You can do everything in the book correct. But if you don't pull the trigger, ultimately, you will never hit your intended target. In life, it's exactly the same way. We can have clear vision. We can have laser focus. We can eliminate some of the distractions. But at the end of the day, we need trigger pull. And not only trigger pull, but repeated trigger pull. So many times we don't ultimately pull the trigger because of fear. I know it's kept me from pulling the trigger at times. Metaphorically speaking, not in a real shotgun. The fear of failure, the fear of what people are going to think about me. Man, does that keep us from doing a lot of meaningful things in life? Worried about what people are going to think. That's fear. Fear of pain. And I say not only trigger pull, but repeated trigger pull because it's common that we do pull the trigger. We take some type of action towards the meaningful things in our life. We do it once, maybe twice, but the big and meaningful things in our lives require repeated trigger pulls. When I set out to become a professional exhibition shooter, if I would have went out there and immediately started missing, which I did, and I did a lot, and I did often for months and months and a long time. If I would have given up because I wasn't seeing success, my outcome would have been totally different. You see, I had to keep reloading, keep pulling the trigger, keep reloading, keep pulling the trigger. And down the road, those seeds that I planted reaped a harvest. So it's not about just pulling the trigger, but keep reloading, keep pulling the trigger. We have to persevere and keep going. I could go on and on about this because I do get fired up. And when I'm talking about it, we'll leave it at that for now. You know, as I talk about these principles and I talk about the different things with living the target-focused life, it's not necessarily because I've mastered all of these things. In fact, the things I talk about most passionately are the things I need to remind myself of constantly. As I listen to different podcasts, there's not necessarily a lot of things new that I haven't heard of, but I need to continue to consume them and remind myself of them and apply them day in and day out. That is exactly why we have started the Target Focus Life podcast, and I'm super excited about the future of this podcast. And ultimately, it is my true desire that lives would be impacted, improved, and changed, if even in small ways, because of this podcast. As Target Focused Life continues to put more energy and investment into the life side of living Target Focused Life, eventually we'll have more opportunities to engage as a community, to support each other, to encourage each other, and help each other step into the greatness they have been called to. Now, ultimately, I believe that you have greatness inside of you because greatness created you. But to access that greatness, it's going to require something that we will talk about in future episodes. But for now, I'm going to leave you with this. My favorite book says in Ephesians 4:10, "For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus so that we can do the good things He planned for us long ago." Until next time, remember, whether you're in the field or in life, you're only going to hit those shots you're laser focused on. So live target focused.